I want to ask you something before we start. How many different ways are you trying to bring in new business right now? I want you to count them. Count your referrals, your ads, your emails. If you're business to business, maybe you're doing LinkedIn and events. Maybe you've started a newsletter and stopped. Maybe you've done some sponsorships and you're still not sure it produced an ROI. Now I want to ask you a harder question. How many of those are actually finished? And before you answer that, I already know what you're thinking. Well, I'm running my ads. Emails go out every week. Those are done. Running isn't finished. A thing that's running can still be losing you money, and you'd never know it. I think for most of us, if we're really being honest, the real answer is none of them. We've got all kinds of things going and zero of them finished. And I have to tell you, that's not a portfolio. That's a bunch of experiments stuck at the experiment stage. I know because I did this for years. When I was building J&L Marketing, I tried everything to get more meetings with prospects. Man, we put a ton of money in trade shows, obviously cold calling like crazy, direct mail, referrals when, I'd remember to ask. It was a grind every day. It felt productive, but most of it didn't do enough or didn't produce enough results to justify the time, the effort, and the money. I wasn't building anything. I was just spread thin across a pile of half-finished things, and I was calling it a strategy. Here's what finally turned it around. I quit chasing new and I started building on what was already working. And if you've been doing this for any amount of time, something's almost always working. You just have to look for it. So what I did, I just took that one thing and I made sure I finished it all the way before I let myself touch anything else. Did I still want 6 or 7 income streams? Well, yeah, but you have to build to that. It has to happen one at a time, not all at once. The reality is you don't have a lead problem. You have a 7 things running and nothing finished problem. So here's what I want you to come away with today. This isn't a pep talk. I want you to walk away with a blueprint. By the end, I want you to know how to pick the one channel to build first based on the data in your own business, not the shiny thing some guru's selling. You're going to know what it actually means to finish a channel. And I mean really finish it, which is further than you think. And you're going to know exactly when you've earned the right to move on to the next one. Because make no mistake, the destination is several streams working at once. I mean, that's a strong, hard to kill business. I'm not arguing against that. I'm telling you how to get there without ending up with 7 things that all sort of work, but none of them well. This episode is about building something. I don't want you to walk away from this episode with a list of things that are broken. You're leaving wanting to start integrating this Monday morning. I'm Scott Joseph. This is Business, Bourbon, and Cigars. If we have not met, I have spent over 30 years running J&L Marketing and buying companies along the way. Now I run Me Plus Ultra, is a group for owners and business leaders who've outgrown the rooms that they started in. I can talk straight about this because I've lived it from the inside. For years at J&L, I had a fistful of half-built ways to bring in new business. And if you asked me, which one was actually working, I couldn't have told you with 100% certainty. We've all heard that, half of my advertising's working, but if I only knew which half. The stretch where sales really started clicking and things got steadier wasn't when we added another lead stream. It was when we put our weight behind the one that was already paying us and then build it all the way out before we touched anything else. We didn't get to real, dependable growth by doing more. We got there by finishing one thing first, building it all the way out, then optimizing it. And only once that one was truly done did we start the next one, then the next, one at a time, never all at once. Same move I'm about to hand you. So I'm going to tell you about a guy I know who was running 7 things, getting almost nothing from any of them until he picked one and actually finished it the right way. Then I'm going to give you how he built it. So if you're sitting in your comfortable place, I want you to pour your favorite bourbon, light your great cigar, because here we go. So let me tell you about Tony. It's not his real name. All our Me Plus Ultra sessions are confidential, but the numbers I'm going to tell you are real. So Tony runs a corporate catering company, mid-sized city. He's doing office lunches, board meetings, different company events. He's doing right around $4 million a year. Does a good job. His food is good. He's got a great team. solid processes. But landing new corporate accounts was really a guessing game for him. He was like a lot of businesses where some months, the orders poured in and others weren't so good. I like to call those incomplete successes. And in catering, quiet can be brutal. You can't plan your kitchen staff. You can't buy your food ahead. In his words, you kind of just brace yourself. Let me make that real. He told me about one stretch, it was literally 3 slow months in a row, where he finally laid off, I think it was 2 prep cooks, and he had just hired them. Then a big account lands out of nowhere, and he was scrambling now to rehire and train in a week. That whiplash, feast and famine, then feast. That's what a business full of, I guess, running but not finished channels, that's what it does to you. It's exhausting. And it's no way to plan a year, a quarter, or a month. So Tony did what most of us do. He tried everything. Google ads, Instagram a few times a week, a booth at a business expo, a guy sending cold emails, a referral program he never actually finished or pushed, boosted listings on a couple of review sites. I think there was a chamber mixer he sponsored. He had all these different things, 7 of them going at one time. And here's the thing that gave it away. So I asked him, which one was working best? And he couldn't tell me. Not because he's not sharp. He's a sharp guy. Because nothing was set up to know. Every lead stream was just something they were doing that never got past what I would define as the initial stages. So when Tony was in the spotlight during one of our Me Plus Ultra sessions, we do what we do, right? We slowed the room down and did something simple by asking tough questions. We looked at where his last 20 corporate accounts actually came from, not where he hoped, where they really started. And it was obvious almost every one came from somebody talking. An office manager who loved him told another office manager. A client switched companies and brought him along. An event planner passed his name to a venue. It was word of mouth, referrals. That was his channel. The one already making money without him even trying. So Tony ended up making the hard call. He hit pause on everything else they were doing, at least for now. He killed the ads, stopped the cold emails. His marketing guy, he's not thrilled. They had meetings about this, not because all the other lead streams are bad, because he had no business running 7 half-built things when he hadn't finished one. So he chose referrals because that's the one that was working best. That's what the data pointed to. And he decided to build it all the way. When he flipped all that other stuff off, those first few, weeks rattled him. It just come off 3 rough months. Most people wouldn't have the guts to do it. And I remember he calls me pretty concerned about what he did. And I told him to give it 90 days before he touched a single dial. And to his credit, he did it. Probably had a few bourbons to get himself along the way. Now, this is where most people stop. They go, all right, great, referrals. I'll just do more of the same and ask for more. They get a little bump and call it done. That's not done. And Tony didn't stop there. That's the whole point of this story. The first thing he did was make referrals run without him. He wrote down the ask, exactly when and how his team asked a happy client for an introduction. Same words, same timing, every job. It stopped depending on him remembering or reminding his team to ask for him. That alone was huge, but that was just the first step. It's still not done. Then he did the thing that almost nobody does. He looked at referrals and he realized it wasn't one thing. It was a bunch of different streams hiding under one word. And that's when he started to build those out deliberately, one at a time. He built a past client stream where they created a set rhythm for going back to companies he had already catered for. Then he built an office manager champion stream. We're talking about the people who already raved about him. And he made it as easy as possible, a dead simple way to send him to appear. Then he built a venue and event planner partner stream. It's a vendor cross referral stream, right? The florists and the AV crews who work the same events. He got them talking and referring to each other. And he even set up, a free tasting box. He turned that into a stream of its own. A tasting dropped at a cold office that more often than not turned that office into a referral source down the road. By the time he was done, he had 7 different streams, all feeding the same one channel, this referral channel. There's more than one way than just asking for the referral. And here's why that matters. This is what I really want you to hear. Before, if one source dried up, his month died too. After, now he's got 7 streams feeding that one channel. No single one could sink him. If past clients went quiet for a month, the venue partners picked up the slack. His new business stopped swinging. It got predictable. You could call it boring even, which in this business is the most beautiful word there is. Then and only then, he went stream by stream and made each one better. Tightened the ask here, sweetened the partner deal there. He wasn't guessing anymore. He was tuning it, just adjusting those dials. And it's funny, the thing that changed his business, it wasn't a new idea. It was refusing to call referrals finished until it was actually finished, all the way down the line. Inside of 90 days, Tony knew his numbers cold, stream by stream. New business turned into a math problem, and you can solve math problems by turning the crank a little harder, when he needed or wanted a little more. And the best part, he wasn't the one turning it most of the time. It was all written down, so his team ran it. And once that one channel was truly finished and it's running without him, it's got 7 streams deep, each one fine-tuned. That's when he did the satisfying thing. He went back and turned one of those park channels, the ones he stopped, back on, email. Build it the exact same way he did the referrals. Get it running without him, break it into streams, tune each one. Then he did a 3rd channel. Today, Tony's got a handful of channels that all actually run, each one many streams deep. The multi-stream business that he wanted the whole time. He just built it one finished channel at a time instead of 7 half-built ones all at once. Have you ever felt stuck trying to solve your toughest business challenges? Maybe you're juggling too many priorities, you're struggling to scale, or you're trying to grow without clarity. It's frustrating to work hard and to feel like nothing is moving the needle. The Business Bourbon and Cigars Workbook gives you access to the same tools, frameworks, and processes that Me Plus Ultra members use at our retreats to tackle real business challenges. You're going to learn how to use SMAC, mastermind-style collaboration techniques, and structured problem-solving methods to identify critical obstacles, create actionable plans, and drive smarter growth. Even if you're not attending the retreat, this workbook lets you experience the same high-level thinking and frameworks that top entrepreneurs use to accelerate results. Download your free copy today at meplusultra.com/workbook and start applying the exact strategies that help businesses scale smarter, solve complex challenges, and make faster, more informed decisions. So let's build yours. And the heart to all of this is really one idea. Running is not finished. Most people stop at running. Finished is 3 levels past that. There are levels to this. 3 of them to be specific, and you have to climb them in order, one channel at a time. So let's start with level 1. You have to get it to a point where it runs and produces good results without you having to run or manage it. This is the base level. And if you only accomplish this one thing, it's already going to be further than most people get. The channel works when you're not touching it. The ask is written down. The follow-up is written down. A new hire could run it straight off the page because it's all documented. And if it only works when you personally push it, you don't have a channel. You've got a chore. You have to get it off your back. And by the way, every stream is built from the same three pieces. You need an offer, a small, easy yes. You need proof, one story or one number told the same way every time. And you need a follow-up that you've actually written down, because most deals, they close on the fifth touch or maybe even the sixth or seventh, almost never the first. Offer, proof, follow-up. That's all a single stream is. So I want you to write this down. If it only runs when you run it, it's not a channel, it's a chore. Remember that. So level 2, it's got to be diversified. One channel, but several streams within it. This is the level that most people don't even bother with. And it's the one that makes your sales more predictable. This is key. Take your one channel and ask, how many different streams could feed this? Referrals isn't one thing, and you're never going to maximize its potential if all you do is ask your clients after they buy. There are a lot of streams that can feed referrals. It's past clients, champions, advocates, your ambassadors, right? Your partners, vendors. Maybe there's an ask cadence, an incentive, an alliance. You want to pick 5 to 7 and build them out one at a time, each one running on its own. But remember, one stream to one channel before you move to the second stream in the same channel. So let's say you build out 5 to 7 streams and it's feeding your referral channel. How do you find your next channel? That's easy. List all the ways that you've received a good lead in the past. Even once. I don't care if it came in by accident. The key, though, it had to be a good lead. And any of those can be a good, candidate for a potential channel. Pick the 5 to 7 with the most room to grow and build them one at a time, the same way you built the first, like the referral example I just gave you. Why does this matter so much? So you're reducing risk by first working on one channel, and you're reducing the risk of that channel by having 5 to 7 streams, lead streams going into the one channel. Then you're making that one channel, even though you've got all those streams going in, even less risky by now adding, once you've optimized, you're adding the next channel. And that'll have 5 to 7 streams of leads going into that channel. That's how you build security. That's how you build a predictable business. That's how you make it a math problem, not a hope and pray problem. Listen, this works in any business, not just catering. A consultant's referral streams, they might be past clients, the partners that they subcontract with, the groups they speak to, and the 2 or 3 peers who pass along maybe overflow work. A contractor's streams might be the suppliers who hear about big jobs first, past customers due for service, and the general contractors who need a sub that they can trust. It's the same move. One channel broken into the handful of streams that actually feed it. So I'm going to repeat this. One stream's a bet. 7 streams feeding one channel, that's a business. So what's the third level? You want to optimize each stream. So if you've got this one channel, it's got 5 to 7 streams, we now need to, optimize those streams. And now, and only now, after you've built them and they're working without you. You've got the 5 to 7. You start tuning, you start adjusting the dial. You go stream by stream and make each one better. Which one converts best? Pour more in. Which one's lagging? Fix the ask or cut it. You couldn't do this before because before you had nothing to measure. The data wasn't there. Now you've got 7 streams throwing off real numbers and you turn the dials. This is where good becomes great. And here's what predictable new business actually buys you, because it's worth more than the money. Now you can hire, think about this, before you're desperate instead, of after. You stop cutting your price just to fill a slow month. You quote the work you want, not the work you need. Personally, you sleep better. That's what's on the other side when you actually finish one channel all the way. And here's the rule that ties it all together. That one that turns this into a machine instead of a mess. You do not start the next channel until the one you're on has hit all 3 levels. Not when it's running, when it's finished, running without you, several streams deep, each one fine-tuned. The best operators I know, they fight that pool, to jump early. They finish one. Then they go build the next one the exact same way. 7 things running is not 7 things finished. Same number, not the same business. This week, don't start another new idea. Look at everything you've got running. Find the one channel the evidence already points to and decide to finish it. Make that decision. All 3 levels. Get it running without you. Break it into 5 to 7 streams, then tune them and leave the rest parked. Don't worry about all that other stuff until the one's truly done. If you want help, I've got something for you. The Business Bourbon and Cigars Workbook walks you through the exact same planning process that we use with Me Plus Ultra members to turn their fuzzy goals into a built thing. It's made for exactly this. It'll help you pick the channel to build first. List out your 5 to 7 streams, map the offer, the proof, and the follow-up for each one, and name the number that you actually watch. It's free. Grab it at meplusultra.com/workbook. So pour a glass, light your favorite cigar, sit down for an hour, and map your first finished channel on paper before you ever build it for real. An hour with that workbook is going to save you a year of guessing. One channel, finished all the way, beats 7 that you're still tinkering with all day long. Build that one, then go build the next. I'm Scott Joseph. This has been Business, Bourbon, and Cigars. Go finish your first one. Cheers, everyone.